Today we're taking a thrilling ride into the world of a motorsports personality who truly became larger than life.
Yeah, definitely.
We're talking about a man whose journey took him from being this, fierce competitor, often sparking controversy, to a genuinely beloved icon.
And that famous catchphrase, it really defined broadcasting for a whole generation of fans, didn't it?
Absolutely. So this deep dive is all about Darrell Waltrip, three-time NASCAR champion. His career had as many twists and turns as well as a superspeedway.
That's right. And we've pulled together a great stack of sources, interviews, articles, some really fascinating personal stories to really unpack how Waltrip, who they call Jaws on the track, how he transformed into this devoted figure of faith and then eventually the unforgettable voice behind Boogity, Boogity.
And here's where it gets really interesting for you, the listener, because we're also looking at the parallel journey of Max Helton.
Ah, yes, Max Helton,
Right.
a foundational figure in motorsports ministry.
Exactly. And how their paths crossed in a way that honestly really impacted the sport. So our mission today is to give you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about this incredible career and some of the, hidden history behind how racing evolved.
Get ready for some surprises, I think.
Definitely some aha moments coming up.
All right, let's start at the beginning. Owensboro, Kentucky. Darrell Waltrip's start was, let's just say, not typical.
Not at all. He's 16, right? Building this hobby car, a 36 Chevy coupe with his dad, LeRoy.
Can you picture it? And the story of getting it to the track.
Oh, that's wild. His brother, Bobby, had to ride inside the race car while it was being towed.
Behind a 53 Ford, no less?
Just to keep it from shimmying off the road. I mean, talk about precarious.
Seriously. And then, first night out.
Slams it into the wall, heavily damaged, maybe foreshadowing his aggressive style.
You could definitely say that. It set a precedent.
Right.
Now, while Darrell's crashing his way in, you've got Max Helton over in East Tennessee.
Right, developing his own passion for racing. Listening to early NASCAR on a transistor radio, apparently.
Yeah, his interest got sidelined for college, but it flared up again later, especially when he was pastoring a church, believe it or not, in White Plains, New York.
Which is pretty unexpected, right? A pastor into racing? I already met a local racer, Frank Amendola.
He did, and Amendola, who owned a car parts business, was totally surprised by Max's knowledge and passion.
And wasn't there a story about Max racing a Volkswagen Rabbit?
Oh, that's a classic. Entered his little red VW Rabbit in a drag race at Freeport, New York, lined up against a V8 Chevelle.
No way.
And then a Corvette, and somehow he managed a second-place finish in that tiny thing.
That's incredible. Shows that passion for speed was just ingrained in him, just like Darrell.
Exactly. Now, back to Darrell. His NASCAR debut was 72, but it was a struggle at first.
Yeah, it took him 50 starts to get his first win, right?
50 starts. But that breakthrough win at Nashville Fairgrounds in 1975, that was huge for him. Driving his own number 17 Terminal Transport Chevy.
He called it a dream come true, didn't he? Why was that win so pivotal?
Because it was his car, his team. That gave him immense confidence, and you can even see his grandmother, Granny, and his grandfather, a deputy sheriff, in the victory lane photo.
And Granny was known for colorful language.
Apparently cussed like a sailor. Gives you a little flavor of the family. And fun fact, those first Cup cars were orange and white because his Nashville owner loved the Tennessee Volunteers.
Uh-huh. Okay, so that Nashville win really marked the start of that aggressive take-no-prisoner style fully emerging. How did that lead to the Jaws nickname?
Well, it wasn't long after, 1977 Southern 500, there was a controversial crash with Cale Yarborough, and Cale famously called him Jaws after the movie.
It was huge at the time.
Massive. And Darrell, he completely embraced it, showed up at the next race with an inflatable shark in his pit.
Topic, Darrell.
And declared, "It's not bragging if you can do it. Pure bravado," but he believed it. And that name stuck.
Okay, that brings us perfectly to his, let's say, candid philosophy on the rule book. He actually said this, didn't he? If you don't cheat, you look like an idiot.
If you cheat and don't get caught, you look like a hero. If you cheat and get caught, you look like a dope. Put me where I belong.
Wow, just laid it out there. What does that tell you about NASCAR back then?
It tells you everything about the pressure cooker environment. Winning was paramount, and the rules, well, they were maybe more like guidelines sometimes.
Flexible interpretation.
Exactly. And this mindset really came to the fore during his championship years with Junior Johnson, 81, 82, 85. Junior was legendary for his creative interpretation.
Creative interpretations. I love that euphemism. So what kind of creative stuff were they doing?
Oh, the innovations were something else. Take the lead shot trick.
Lead shot.
Yeah, they'd fill frame rails with tiny lead pellets, basically BBs. Then after tech inspection, they'd have a little trap door to dump them out, made the car lighter for the race.
That's genius. Did they ever get caught?
Well, Darrell tells a story about inspectors at Martinsville finding little BBs laying everywhere, and he just played dumb.
Of course he did.
And another time at Bristol, he accidentally dumped them all at once, nearly spun himself out, and blamed Dave Marcus.
Oh, man. What else were they up to? It wasn't just lead shot.
No. They had heavy radios, like 50-pound Mallory radios, and even trick helmets to make weight for inspection.
Just adding weight anywhere they could hide it.
Pretty much. And the engine tricks. Legendary. Junior would run these massive 454 motors, huge engines, sometimes with specific gears like a 567 for short tracks like Martinsville.
And they had ways to make them look legal.
Yeah, using paraffin in the cylinders during inspection. That was apparently a trick from a guy named Mr. Hayter. Darrell always felt Richard Petty's big fine in '83 at Charlotte for an illegal engine came out of Waltrip's second-place prize money because Junior gave Petty the illegal setup.
Wow, the intrigue. What about aerodynamics? I hear Robert G., Dale Jr.'s grandfather, was involved there.
Absolutely. Robert G. was a master fabricator. We'll talk more about him, but yeah. His son, Robert G. Jr., put a Nova nose on Dale Jr.'s car once.
A Nova nose?
Yep. And Robert G. himself famously used Volkswagen fenders on the front of Darrell's modified Camaro.
Volkswagen fenders? Seriously? Why?
For better tire clearance and aerodynamics. He apparently called Darrell at 2 a.m. with the idea. That's the kind of constant thinking that went on.
Incredible. So Darrell defended all this by saying, we weren't rule breakers, we were rule makers.
He did. He argued his aggressive style and pushing the limits, well, it forced NASCAR to make new rules because of him. He saw it as part of the competition.
Bringing the heat, as he put it.
Exactly. And speaking of heat, there was the nitro.
Yes. Nitrous oxide for qualifying. When he drove for Dygard, what was that like?
He said it was terrifying and exhilarating. He'd literally opened the bottle with a small wrench attached to a bar inside the car while driving.
While driving?
Yep. Said the car just took off like a rocket. Extremely dangerous, illegal stuff. Sometimes it got exposed in bad wrecks, like with J.D. McDuffie.
Man, the risks they took. And the early days. The resources were so different. Darrell showing up at Talladega with just a basic toolbox.
From Western Auto. Had to buy air wrenches and jack stands right there at the track.
And the story about thinking he got caught cheating, but people were just pointing at the jacks still hanging under his car after a pit stop.
Yeah, it gives you a real picture of how gritty it was. And even later, with the early MRO stuff, Max Helton apparently drove home after Bible studies in Richmond because he couldn't afford a hotel.
Just incredible dedication, which actually brings us perfectly to a really pivotal moment for Darrell in 1983, the Great Awakening.
Yeah, a huge turning point. That violent crash at Daytona left him concussed, couldn't remember the next two races.
And that happened alongside his wife Stevie's second miscarriage and a tough season.
It was a perfect storm, really, his big wake-up call. He famously said the crash knocked him conscious. Knocked him conscious. I love that. And the change was profound, right? Stevie said it was like being married to two different men.
It really was a transformation. He went from being Jaws, getting booed constantly, to winning the most popular driver award in '89 and '90. The fans saw a genuine change.
And that newfound faith led directly to Motor Racing Outreach, MRO, in 1988. This is where Max Helton's journey really converges.
Exactly. Max had moved to Bakersfield, saw the needs in the racing community there. Then, in '86, at an International Sports Coalition meeting, mentored by former NFL player Norm Evans, he voiced his interest in a racing ministry.
His first thought wasn't even to lead it himself, right? Just empower believers already in the sport.
Right. But then he learned from Ken Owen of Racers for Christ that, unlike IMSA or IndyCar, NASCAR and F1 had no dedicated chaplains.
And the key connection came through Rick and Sandy McRae.
Yes. They told Max about the spiritual needs in NASCAR and specifically mentioned Darrell and Stevie's recent faith journey. Critically, they also mentioned the Waltrips felt the existing chaplaincy program wasn't quite meeting their spiritual needs.
So there was an opening, a hunger for something more.
Definitely. And it started small. The very first MRO Bible study, Darrell Waltrip's hotel room at Darlington, September '88. Just the Waltrips, the Hillans, and Max's family.
From a hotel room?
Yeah.
How did it grow?
Max's sheer perseverance, driving home because he couldn't afford hotels. Eventually, couples started furnishing him with a room, paying for his stay. That dedication built momentum, leading to the first MRO leadership conference in Orlando in '89.
And then NASCAR officially recognized it.
July '89. Les Richter, NASCAR's VP of competition, invited Max to be the series chaplain. Max hesitated slightly, not wanting to be just NASCAR, but he took it.
Served for 13 years, right?
13 years as Winston Cup chaplain, and eventually the Waltrips, the Speeds, the Hillans, they all joined the MRO board, giving it that crucial representation from within the racing community. It became integral.
And Stevie Waltrip's role in all this, especially with Dale Earnhardt Sr., that story is so powerful.
It really is. Dale Sr. seeing Stevie give Darrell a scripture card before a race.
And asking, where's mine?
Yeah, just like that. It started a tradition, and tragically, the last card she gave him before the 2001 Daytona 500 was Proverbs 18.10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous run to it and are safe.
Chilling. And she still does it for Dale Jr.
Still does. Dale Jr. says he doesn't feel safe racing without his card from Stevie. It's an incredible testament to her quiet influence and the trust she built.
Just amazing. And Darrell's commitment clearly continues: the weekly Bible study in his garage, the devotional books.
Absolutely. Now, shifting gears a bit, we have to talk about the complex relationships, and none more complex than Darrell and Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Ultimate frenemies.
That's a good word for it. Intense rivals, but with this odd underlying connection.
That Richmond incident in '88 comes to mind immediately. Darrell body slammed Earnhardt late in the race.
Yeah, a huge move. Cost Dale Sr. a potential shot at driving Junior Johnson's famous number 11 car. And Junior was furious with Dale Sr. after, told him, boy, get out of my face. Showed Junior's loyalty even as Darrell was about to leave.
And in the All-Star race wreck in '95, Waltrip, Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon involved. Darrell broke some ribs.
And Earnhardt's response afterwards, just pure intimidator, told Darrell, don't you ever go on the outside of me, hopefully you learned a lesson.
Ouch. Even after breaking ribs.
No sympathy there. And that Christmas Eve call story, it just sums up Dale Sr.'s dual nature.
Right. He'd call Darrell every Christmas Eve, then one year just didn't. And when Darrell asked why...
Earnhardt just blew him off at Daytona. I don't have to call you every year. Could be so callous, so rude.
But sources say he also had a big heart he rarely showed.
Exactly. His philosophy was, you hit me once, I'm going to hit you twice. But beneath that, especially with Stevie, she saw a different side. Her witness to him, those scripture cards, it shows there was more there.
A complex guy. Now let's talk Robert G. Dale Jr.'s grandpa, the legendary fabricator.
Oh yeah, Robert G. Absolutely pivotal. Darrell's first impression was funny, though.
What was it?
He saw Robert G. welding on his wrecked Mercury and thought, that man can't even weld.
Why?
Because he'd never seen a wire welder before. Robert G. was already using newer tech. Shows how advanced he was.
And his creative solutions, like the Beetle Fender Camaro.
Legendary. Fabricated front fenders from Volkswagen parts for better aero and tire clearance. Brilliant stuff.
The 2 a.m. phone call guy.
That's him. But there was drama, too, like the auction where Darrell had to buy back his own modified Camaro.
How did that happen?
He'd paid Robert G. like $25,000 to build it, a fortune then. But at Robert G.'s auction later, he had no bill of sale, so he had to bid $4,000 to get his own car back. Butch Stevens was even bidding against him.
Crazy. What finally caused them to split professionally? I heard it was something specific.
It was seemingly small, but huge in principle. Robert G. lent Dale Sr. one of Darrell's irreplaceable, special 550 gears, a critical part from Junior Johnson's stash without asking.
Ooh, that's a betrayal in that world.
Big time. That was the breaking point then, though they did reconcile later. Respect endured.
And Robert G. had some rituals. Cooking steaks.
Yeah, apparently every night he'd blow out the shop with an air hose to clear out all the Bondo dust. Then he'd cook steaks on the grill while sipping Crown Royal. Paints quite a picture.
Definitely. Okay, other key figures. Junior Johnson, a father figure, but also that contentious '86 championship ending.
Right. Junior insisted on an engine Darrell didn't trust for the final race. It blew up after 30 laps, cost him the title. Many felt Junior did it out of spite because Darrell was leaving for Hendrick.
Wow. Tough business. Then Bill Gardner at Dyard.
Gardner hired Darrell after seeing his success, firing Donnie Allison. Gardner was sharp, introduced formal contracts to racing, which was new.
But their split was messy.
Very public, very bitter. Darrell paid $300,000 to get out of the contract. Gardner even brought Bruce Jenner, yes, that Bruce Jenner, to a race to interview about potentially driving Darrell's car, just as a public dig.
Ouch. And finally, Rick Hendrick.
A true visionary. Robert G. even saw that. Hendrick combined business smarts with racing passion. He offered Darrell triple his salary in '86.
And Junior's reaction?
Just told Darrell, boy, you ought to go take that deal. Very matter of fact. Darrell also drove briefly for DEI later, after Steve Park got hurt, which he said saved him financially and helped mend fences with Dale Sr.
So many connections. Okay, fast forward. Darrell hangs up the helmet, steps into the Fox Sports booth in 2000. 19 years there. But his first day. Incredibly emotional, wasn't it? Calling his brother Michael's Daytona 500 win, a massive high for the family, but overshadowed by the tragedy of Dale Earnhardt's fatal crash on the last lap. What a way to start a broadcasting career, the highest high and the lowest low, all at once.
Unbelievable. But then around 2005 came the get phrase.
Boogity, 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 boogity. Where did that come from?
He was listening to that old Ray Stevens song, The Streak, in his motorhome, heard the line, "Here he comes, boogity, boogity," and adapted it.
And it became legendary. Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. He called it a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, a blessing because it made him instantly recognizable to a new generation, brought new fans in. A curse because many of them had no idea about his championships or wins.
He started sending postcards of his stats.
He did. Just to remind people he could actually drive, too. His broadcasting style was simple, though.
What was his philosophy?
Just tell it like it is. Guy had a flat tire, he spun out. Guy ran into him, spun the other guy. Straightforward, honest.
And he didn't just stick to broadcasting, did he? His entertainment stuff is pretty varied.
Oh, yeah. Voicing Darrell Waltrip in the Cars movies.
Perfect casting.
Right. Acted in some other films, even played Mother Ginger in The Nutcracker for the Nashville Ballet once.
Mother Ginger? No way.
No way! He really embraced being a public figure. And his philanthropy is significant, too.
The Darrell Waltrip Automotive Group donating over $5 million.
And the Waltrip Brothers Charity Championship raising nearly $3 million. Serious commitment to giving back.
It really is a masterclass in reinvention, isn't it? From Jaws, the guy everyone loved to hate,
to this beloved ambassador, figure of faith, iconic voice. It's almost funny that he's maybe better known for Boogity than for 84 wins and 3 titles. What does that say about legacy?
It's an incredible arc. A kid building a hobby car, like Max Helton tinkering with street rods, then a champion pushing every limit, then this profound faith journey, and finally, a broadcasting legend.
And their stories together really mirror how racing itself grew up, from this regional thing to a national giant, with all the human drama baked in.
Yet even after all that, Darrell admits, I can't say that I've enjoyed being retired. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. What's it mean to live life stuck in the fast lane, always needing that next challenge? Is fulfillment in the chase itself, or maybe in those unexpected detours, like becoming a shepherd instead of a shark?
So, as you reflect on Darrell Waltrip's incredible journey, this transformation, we challenge you, the listener. Think about your own Boogity moment.
Yeah, that unexpected spark, that thing that sets you off on a totally new path. You might not even realize its significance at the time.
Maybe only looking back. So, boogie, boogity, boogity. Let's go live it, boys.